Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday, June 19th. Let's see, am I going to put this light on or not? I guess I am. Yeah, okay, we'll see how that goes. All right, perfect. Okay, how is everybody today on this glorious day? It's glorious here in Franklin, Mass. Let me take a drink of my cuppa. I hope if you are there, if you'll pop on and say hi, that would be nice. I think everything is good this morning, and we'll start as soon as it's 10 o'clock. It is beautiful today. It's just an absolutely lovely, lovely day. But hold on one thing. I just thought of one thing I have to do. Jack, I'm going to open the garage door for Helene and Kathy. Okay, I'm back. All right. I am back. Hey, Jan, good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, can you just tell me if you connected to YouTube or to Facebook? I don't even want to say what happened, but I don't think it's bad. I think everything is fine, but I would just like to know. Anyway, so moving right along, it is 10 o'clock, so let us get started. So let me, first of all, apologize because I said in my newsletter that I would have information about our silly old bear class and also a kit class. Unfortunately, the day ran ahead of me. A lot of things happened yesterday unexpectedly, and so I just didn't get a chance to do that. But I will later on today, I promise, information about those two things. But anyway, let's get started with today. Look at how cute these little guys are. I think this stamp set called Wild Bunch, which is just an absolutely adorable set. This is the product of the month for the month of June. If you put in a $75 product order, you can get this for only $5. They're so cute. Look at this little cow. And in my letter, I said, these cows remind me of the Jersey cows at Billings Farm in YouTube. Thank you, Jan. Did you try to go to Facebook? Did you even get a notification that it was there? That's the other thing. I don't know if that's working. Oh, well. Anyway, these little Jersey cows at the Billings Farm in Woodstock, Vermont are so cute and just, they're just such sweet animals. And then, of course, here's this cute little snail. That's what I'm going to work on today. Koala bears are very special to me because I have relatives in New Zealand and Australia. And in Australia, the koala bears are just all over the place. And then, of course, penguins. Who doesn't love a penguin? The way they waddle back and forth. They're so darn cute. And I love the fonts. I love the little flourishes here. So let's just get started. So here is the first one that I made with the cow. Look at how sweet this is. And this is a trifold card. This, I think it's called trifold. It could be, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Could be 4 if you wanted to consider 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be a quatrefold card. But anyway, this is something that I copied from Susan Campbell. Actually, she's a demonstrator that I check. Thank you, Jan. She's a demonstrator that I follow a lot. This is an old template, but of course it's new with this new stamp set. Look at how cute this is. And I used the Golden Glow DSP, the 12 by 12 DSP. So, and just made this panel. I just think it's so sweet. So there's that one. And then here is the little koala bear. And this one I did in Precious Pine. Look at how sweet. Look at that face. So stinking cute. And again, just a really cute little fold. And then for those people who aren't interested in doing this fold, I simply did an A5 card like this with the little penguin. And I think it's just adorable using the Everyday Arches. I stamped a piece of, I embossed a piece of basic white cardstock with the, all of a sudden I'm drawing a blank what that embossing folder is. Anyway, but then how easy is that? Just adorable, and kept it blank on the inside because it's going to be a note card. All right, so let's get started. Let me pull these things over. First of all, I am going to give you the dimensions on this. And let me put this over here like this. All right, so here is the piece of paper. It is a piece of paper that is 11 inches by 5.5, 11 by 5.5. And then it is scored at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. 1 3/4, 3 1/2, 5 1/4, and 7 inches. So then I need to just take my bone folder, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mountain fold and a valley fold, and a mountain fold and a valley fold. And I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm just going to press like this. You could do them separately. And if you really wanted, what you could do, because you know how I feel about the mountain and the valley, allowing sometimes to get a little bit of fuzziness on the paper. You can see a little bit of fuzziness right here, just a tiny little bit. You could score it at the 1 3/4 and then turn it around and score it at the next line so that you wouldn't have that little fuzziness. But you know what? Nobody's going to see it. Really and truly, nobody's going to see it. Okay, so having said that, then what I did was I took 4 pieces of this Designer Series pattern paper, and what these measurements, let me just show you what these measurements are. These are going to be 1 1/2 by 5 1/4 inches. So what I'm now going to do is adhere them to these panels. Let me get my little silicone pad in here. Let me get my adhesive. And here's the first one. I love this paper. This is, boy, I'm drawing blanks this morning. That's not good. All right, so here, this is going to go on like this, and I'm going to try to get it east and west and north and south. That looks pretty good to me. Now that is going to be my guide for the next panel. So let me put these over here for a second. Here's the next panel. This is going to come in like this. Let me apply some adhesive. It is such a beautiful day. I think it's like 74 degrees or something like that. So nice outside. All right, so this is going to go on like this, east and west. And I'm making sure I'm getting it so that the top is even with this first panel. And that looks pretty good to me. So there's that one. Now I'm going to use the flip side of this for the next panel. This is an easy card. And it's an easy card, and it's got a lot of wow factor, I think. People open it up and say, ooh, look at how pretty this is. All right, here is this. Jan, how are your legs doing? My friend who's been rehabbing very nicely from her horrible little accident that she had. And now here's the 4th panel, like this. I love this color. I'll have to tell you what this is. You'll have to give me a minute and I'll go pull it because I'm drawing a blank. Okay, east and west and north and south. Perfect. There we go. So that's that. How easy is that? Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Misty Moonlight ink, and I am going to stamp the inside of this. And I'm going to put this right here. And I've chosen to use the just a little note message, and I'm just going to ink this up, and I'm going to bring in my little Pierce pad because this is a photopolymer, and I like to use Pierce pads with this. There we go. And I'm going to have it excuse me, I'm going to have it right up in the upper right hand corner here. This is my first time catching you live because I have Today from work. Hi, Julie. Hi, thank you so much for popping on. Julie is my new Facebook friend, and you copy her address down because she's got some really, really cute things that she does, projects that she does. So please follow her too. Thanks for joining in, Julie. I'm so glad. Okay, so here we go. Just a note, and I'm going to put it right here. Perfect. Perfect. Then the next stamp I'm going to use is this little hatch check. Well, it's not really hatch check, but it's a flourish. But what I'm going to do is I am going to put it on the bottom. However, I'm not going to put it full strength. I'm going to stamp it, and I'm going to stamp it on my grid paper, and then I'm just going to come in and do this. So it's, look at that. So it's a little bit muted. There we go. And let's see. Let me see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of paper, and I am just going to cover this panel up because I do not want to get any ink on that panel. So let me stamp my stamp, get some ink. Nancy, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining. There we go. Perfect. Look at that. Oh, gosh, you didn't even see that. I'm so sorry. So what I did was, I didn't want to get ink on this side because the width of this stamp would have overridden that panel. So I simply took a piece of paper, I covered that section up, I held it tightly, and then I came in and stamped it. So I have that nice little look on the bottom. How cute is that? Isn't that sweet? Okay, now allow me to cover this up because you know how I am with inks. All right, now the next thing is I'm going to take this little snail. Now I already went ahead and I cut this, I stamped the snail, and then I'm going to color it. And the colors that I chose are Misty Moonlight, Flirty Flamingo, Dark, and then light Granny Apple Green. So I'm just going to have fun here. I'm just going to take this for the moment and color it. Now these are watercolor markers, so I tend to use watercolor markers a lot because they're my favorite actually. I like pencils too. I like the chalks too, but I love, love, love these alcohol markers. I don't mean watercolor, alcohol. And notice I'm only going in one direction, and that's because, first of all, the tip of these markers is very, it's precise. So I let the tip deliver the ink. I don't press hard. I don't go back and forth. Going back and forth, getting stronger every week, Jan, that is so good to hear. I'm so glad. Jan had a terrible accident, broke her feet, her ankles, and now she's bounding back beautifully. So that's good news. Anyway, getting back to these alcohol markers, I just let the alcohol, the marker, the color, can I get this straight here? Deliver it to the project itself, because I don't want to add a lot of color. I just want the marker to do the work, and it's very, very gentle. Not like when I was in kindergarten and you had to scrub in order to get color. No, you don't have to do that. All right, so now I'm going to add some Granny Apple Green. I love green and blue together. And notice once again, I'm letting the tip do the work, and I'm not going back and forth. I'm just going in one direction. Look at how pretty that looks. This little snail is so cute. Snails are so beneficial in our environment, you know. I'm sure you know that. Look at how cute this is. And then let's bring this up here a little bit. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to add a little more of the Misty Moonlight. That is such a pretty color. I'm going to be honest, when this first color came out, I said, wasn't tickling the cockles of my heart, but boy, I like it now a lot. Look at how pretty this green is against that Misty Moonlight. Okay, so that's good there. Now let me come back with Misty and just add a little bit of color in here. And then I'm going to take the Flirty Flamingo. This is a very happy, very, very happy snail. There we go. There and here. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love coloring. I've said it a million times. You know all about Mrs. McGovern in my kindergarten class. Okay, now with the Flirty. Oh, look at that tip. This one is an old but a goodie. So let's just bring this in. You know what? I think I'm going to use the other side because I don't want to color out of the lines. Ooh, this is very different dark on this side. That's okay. Must have had this laying on its side. Laying upside down, vertical instead of horizontal, which you're supposed to have them going horizontal so the ink distributes evenly between the fine tip and the brush stroke ends. Anyway, there's that. And then I'm going to come in right here and do this center section like that. And then I'm going to do these little antennae like that. How cute is that? Ha! Adorbs, adorbs. Now, I just thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try this. I'm going to take the shimmery. Thank you, Jan. Painted Illusions. Thank you very, very much. Now I don't have to go and do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I'm going to just come in here and I'm going to put little strokes of green underneath my little snail like this. These are the new shimmery brushes. Now, they are the cousin to Wink of Stella. They're not exactly like Wink of Stella because they don't have the same kind of glisten that Wink of Stella has, but it has a shimmery effect to it. And I'll show you in a moment. I'm just going to add a little bit here to give it a little bit of color. And I might add a little bit of Granny Apple in here too. I don't know. We'll see. There we go. That's good to me. That's cute. All right. I don't know if I'm doing something good here or if I'm causing a little bit of mess. No, I think I kind of like it. I kind of like it, this little snail in this nice bed of grass. Can't you just smell it? I can smell it. It's like freshly mown grass. I love that smell. And I'm glad, I'm very fortunate. I'm not allergic to that. My husband is. My husband and my daughter have terrible allergies to the environment. I don't. I have terrible allergies to other things, but there we go. I like it. I like the way that looks. Okay, now what I shall do is I'm going to take my silicone pad. I'm going to take a circle of Misty Moonlight, and we're going to get these attached like this. There we go. And I see a little dot here. I don't know what we're going to do about that. Oh, yes, I do. All right, so let's get this on. So this is, let me just tell you here. This is my okay, so this is the 2.5 inch circle and the 2 3/8 inch circle. So that looks good to me. Then I'm going to get some dimensionals, which let's see, here we go. I'm going to put a bunch of dimensionals on this. And then we have to get a little panel to put this on. And I will show you what we're going to do. All right, so I'm going to set this aside for a moment. Now, the next thing I did was I took a piece of the white cardstock, and this measures 6 inches by 3 inches, and I scored it at 3 inches. So now I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to make sure that I get this even. I see a little bit of fuzz here. Now, this is indicating that my the mat on my cutter is old. So let me just take in my little 6-inch cutter, bring this in, because you know how I feel about these little areas that are a little shreddy, and I don't like it. So I'm just going to trim that off. This is like a 1/64 of an inch here, just bringing that in to get that little fuzz off. And later on, I'll get a new mat for my bigger cutter. And here's one more section here. This has to be perfect in my eyes. Tiny little bit. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Then I took a piece of Misty Moonlight, and this Misty Moonlight is going to have this piece of designer paper on top of it. Isn't that pretty? Just love that. So let's get that attached like this. We're almost done. This is a quick card. I appreciate that, Jan, that you popped on and told me that. Okay, so that's going to go on like this. And now this is going to be the piece that goes on the front. Let me bring in the little koala. So here is this piece. Now you would think it would go backwards the other way, but it doesn't. It goes so the fold is on the outer right-hand part of your card. So I am going to take this panel and I'm going to attach this now right here, like such. And then we're going to get this nicely secured inside. All right, so here's the front panel right here where the little snail is going to live. So I'm going to put that on like this. And then I'm going to take a piece of designer paper and I'm just going to put it on like this. I'm not going to put anything behind it because I chose not to. You could if you like. You absolutely could. You could put another piece of cardstock on there. Okay, so there is this. And I'm going to put this on just like that. East and west and north and south. Jan, please say hi to Beth for me. Okay? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my card base. And the whole idea is that I want to get it so that it's nice and even on the right-hand side here. I've got a little bit of space. I want to make sure it gets attached to the front panel so that when I open it, it will be, let me just show you, like this. And it will be attached to this panel as well. So it will look like that, okay? So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to put some adhesive. I'm going to come here and I'm going to line my card up with the grid lines on my grid paper. And then I can see that I have almost 3/8, I would say 3/8. This is like one box and a little bit more if you can see very carefully. These are 1/4 inch boxes. So here is a 1/4 inch and it's a little bit more than that. But I like that placement. So what I'm going to do is open this up and I'm going to turn this over and I am going to put, I'm going to bring this here and I'm going to put some adhesive right on this section right here. So I'm going to go 2 sections down. That's perfect for me. Now, I'm going to bring this in, and again, I'm going to place it so that it is even from the top to the bottom, or just thereabouts. You can eyeball this. This is just really nothing super precise, but I like the way that's going to look like this. And then I'm going to, yep, I'm good with that. I'm going to open this up, and then I'm going to fold this back just like that and press. And now that is nicely attached. So then I'm going to come in and do the same thing on this side. And I know that I've got probably a good 3/4 of an inch I could use here to put adhesive on. So I'm going to put 3 lines, just like that. All right. And then I'm just going to take this and flip it over like that. And there you have it. How cute is that? Okay, so now let's get the Mr. Snail in here. Look at how sweet that is. And I'm going to take these little pieces of paper right off my little dimensionals here. Whoops. How the heck did these get on here? These are small dimensionals. They must have been on top of my grid paper, and they snuck on. That happens, you know. I have dimensional pieces of, as I'm sure all of you do, all over the place. I find them everywhere. In the bathroom, in my bedroom. I find them in my pool area. It's crazy, just crazy. All right, Mr. Snail, now you're going to come here, and I'm going to plop you on just like this. Adorable. Now, I'm still not done, because you know what I have to do. I have to get some Winky. And let's get this snail colored a bit. Let's give this Mr. Snail some Winky. I love Winky. Oh gosh, it's such a fun tool to have. And I think the whole thing needs to be winked up. This might be one that's getting a little bit low. It is. Let me get another one. And you know what I do with my ones that have very little left? I use them as brushes to paint with. So if I wanted to have a little bit of color, I would put a few drops of the ink into the head of the top of my ink pad, and then squirt a little bit of Winky, or add a water drop or 2, and then use this brush. And so be it if we have a little bit of Winky left in that chamber and it comes out shiny, because I'm certainly okay with that. You know how I feel about that. And I'm just going to add some like this. Cute. Then I am going to take some sparkles, some Dazzling Diamonds, and I'm just going to salt this up a little bit. You know, and it is, for some reason, there is some kind of static magnetism, even though there's no adhesive on this, but it stays and it looks nice. Now, I'm not quite done yet, because I want to put some gems on it. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to take, I'm going to take the Hydrangea Hue, which I think is a lovely complementary color. And I'm going to take, let's see. Now, you notice here, there is a little mark right here that I must have had some of the Misty Moonlight on my fingers. So I'm just going to take a little gem, and I'm going to put one right there. This is between you and me. Nobody will ever know. And then I'm going to put another one up there, and then one small one down here, I think. Let's see. Let's put it right here. Like that. There we go. How stinking cute is this? What do you think? Look at that. Whoops, bring it down. Hello, Mr. Snail. There we go. Just a little note. Isn't that a cute card? I think they're all cute. I think they're really, really cute. Look at, there's the koala bear. And so these are what we're going to be doing next week. So if you're coming to my class, please let me know what you would like. If you'd like to do any of these trifold cards, please, let me get this out of the way here. There we go. Or if you'd like to do an A5 card, this little penguin, you can do that one too. You can do a combination, whatever you like. So there we have it. So that is what took place today, my friends. I hope that you enjoyed these cards. Now, I just want to briefly mention that I'm going to have a silly old bear class. And actually, let me just show you 2 of the cards that you're going to make. I've got this one, and where's my other one? Okay, hold on. It's right here. I just have to reach for it. Now these cards I've copied. These are not my designs, but let me just show you. Cute card. Thank you so much, Julie. And thanks for popping on. And I hope everybody gets to take your information down so that you can see what Julie does. So this card was done by Tina Bickford, I think her name is. Look at how cute this is. This is a book card. It looks like a book. See, it looks like a book. And there are the pages of the book. Here is the bookmark that says, "Oh, bother." And here is little Piglet knocking on the door. And then on the side, it looks like a book, the book itself. So it's, whoops, it says "Happy Birthday." This is the name of the book. When you open it up, it's got Piglet blowing some dandelions, and it says, "You deserve a little treat." And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a little gift card holder so that somebody can go to Barnes & Noble and get a book, because this is a happy birthday book card. Isn't that cute? So that was from, I think her name is Tina Bickford. That's that one. This one, you know what? I don't know who made this, but I absolutely love it. I think it's so cute. You know, this might be a Susan Campfield one as well, but I just love how easy this is. This is a cute little fold. You open it up, and it's got the 100 Acres Forest right here, and I think you can see there's a little bit of Wink of Stella on all of the aspects of this little map. So there's the front of it, and then you open it up inside, and you've got plenty of room to write a message, and you've got all of the honey pots here. And of course, I've got Wink of Stella on them. So we're going to be doing those two, and then we're also going to be doing a little brag book, which is, I don't know who the brag book is from, but anyway, those are the two cards and the brag book that we're going to be doing for the Silly Bear class. So I'll have information and prices on that later on today. I've got a very busy rest of my day, but I will make sure that I have that out. And the other thing, the other exciting thing is I'm going to start a kit club, not a paper pumpkin club, but a kit club. So I will have information about that as well. So that is it for today, my friends. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm so glad that you stopped in and said hello. I really appreciate your support. I hope you have a great rest of today, a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week, next Friday, right here in Franklin, Massachusetts.